Yo, Twizzle Dick, it's time. I'll tell you, man, you really attract a crowd, dude. Everyone's out there. I'm surely gonna miss our chats. This man's execution is based off the crimes of, let's see here, delaying content and then under-delivering, making a quarter of the Roblox's player base include the name RIP, and oh wait, there's a little more, and also releasing plushies no one asked for. Another plushie guy, what's with that?
Yo, Indra, what did you do with the content? It's been 2 years, bro. I have a wife and kids.
My content? You want my content? You can have it. I left everything in those screenshots on a file in one place. Now you just have to find it.
Wait. You can talk! I don't want to get copyrighted. Oh yeah. I like monetization. I need ad revenue. I recently made one of the worst choices a content creator can make.
Like touching kids?
Jesus, no!
Scamming their fans?
Oh my god, what the fuck did I tell you about talking?
Making a video on a mid-ass game?
Like and subscribe.
Anyway, what I'm talking about is letting your viewers choose what you play, which my naive pea brain thought was an amazing way of finding new games, but half the recommendations were either still Battlegrounds or huge games that everyone knows about. Actually, one of those games that someone requested was a little game you might have heard of. It's not too big. Blox Fruits? Now, personally, if I could remember where I saw that comment, I would be sending them a special little care package, but I pretty much got dementia. Though after seeing that comment, I decided to check on the game. I mean, last time I played is when they promised a bunch of map changes, fruit reworks, and whole new ways to grind the game, then dropped an update with one new island. But they said it was being worked on at the time, and to be patient. That was all around almost 2 years ago. They have updated several times now, and by that I mean like 3, but to be fair, that's more than certain games. So let's see what we're working with now. Okay, we're in Bloxy Fruits. I got some new drip on, you know, gotta be king of the virgins. First thing I want to do is look at my perma bought fruits, because yes, I was a loser and bought permanent fruits. They promised a rework. I've heard they reworked a bunch of other shit, so no, this looks the same, be honest. I mean, yep, no, this is the... To be fair, you know, they're a tiny team with a minuscule budget, you know, very indie shit here. So let's look at the new reworked C1 and C2, you know, let's look at the new islands they have. Not really noticing it, though. I'm not really seeing it. Maybe C2 has it? Okay, I'm in C2, and besides whatever the fuck, what is that? But you know what? I could care less about Control and the reworked maps. You know what? As long as they have new quests, I'm happy. You know, we definitely need new quest lines. For the past over 5 years, we've had fucking bandit beating. We gotta have something new, right? Nope, not here. Nope. Where is the content? They didn't add any of it, did they? I waited 2 years for half of the updated content to be gatekept in 3rd C. Okay, some of you may not know the joy of grinding the C3. To understand my frustration better, I should probably explain the game and my experience with it.
Do you have any relationship with your father? I mean,
What's that?
Now, it's silly even entertaining this, but if you somehow don't know what Blox Fruits is, let me break it down for you. Blox Fruits is a MMO RPG bandit beater developed by MyGame43 and Indra. Or that's at least what it says on Google. The game launched all the way back in 2019. Before Blox Fruits, the only other popular game one of them made at the time was Elemental Battlegrounds. No, not the modern copy and paste Battleground format of today. This one was somewhat original. It's actually pretty cool. You can see a lot of the original foundations that would later be used in their future cash cow. The main goal in Blox Fruits is to become the strongest. So much so that they even have it in the description of the game, but doing that is easier said than done. You must level up and boost your skills in either swords, Blox Fruits, or guns. Now, how you do that is quite simple. All you gotta do is commit mass genocide to a multitude of different creatures and people across multiple islands. Some will even drop weapons that vary from normal swords or orbital cannons that wipe islands off the map. There really is no in between. In this game, you also do something no Roblox user has ever done, which is eating fruits. I honestly won't blame you for thinking that this sounds somewhat simple and easy, but this is the first thing from the truth. That's mostly because the max level at the time recording this is 2,650. Now, to be fair, a lot of games' max level doesn't doesn't mean much. Most of the time, it's not even worth grinding to. But in Blox Fruits, they stretch out almost all the content over those 2,000 levels and more. And the way you get there is the most slow, repetitive thing Roblox has ever been cursed with. Bandit beating, which is exactly how it sounds like. You accept a quest and then kill, / defeat, / game end, whatever you want to call it, the amount of enemies the quest wants, and then you're done. Now, this isn't a new thing in gaming. It's a huge part in most MMOs you will play, but the difference between them and Blox Fruits is that they vary in the brain-numbing grinding you can do, like Fetch Quest, another boring quest format, which you go from point A to point B to grab something, then return. But mixing these together gives you options on what you want to do. Throw in a couple unique quests that spice it up, then you have most modern MMOs. This sounds simple, but this makes the game that much less tedious and grindy. Blox Fruits' issue is that there's only really one way to level up. The problem is so glaring that even the developers have acknowledged it years ago, but like, let's rework Barrier instead. Now, the game has 3 different Cs, 2 of them requiring a certain level to gain access to. Each C also adds completely new maps, bosses, and features, like trading or awakenings of basically everything in the game. This is why a lot of players would tell you the real game begins in C2, which I kind of agree with. The only reason I'm iffy on that is because you have to be over level 700 to just reach C2. I don't want to be that guy, but if the real game starts at level 700, the leveling system may be chopped. This game did inflation before it was cool.
Oh, fuck.
There is no need for the level to be near 3,000. There's a lot of content here, but just make XP gain slower and then make it only a level 1,000, because it's just the idea of having to grind to fucking 700 that scares people off. This game has more levels than there's episodes in the show. At least fool them with making the number lower with the same amount of grinding. To be fair, this point is more for the games trying to be like the next Blox Fruits. I understand at the time when the leveling was first made, they had no idea the game would get this big. They probably never even planned on making a whole new 2Cs, and they couldn't just reset everyone's level. This point is pretty mute with their situation. I'm just putting this out because a lot of the games that copy them use the same overinflated leveling garbage. But after grinding a quarter of your life away and you finally reach the peak of that mountain, I'm talking almost max level, best fruits, best swords, and awakening everything, what do? There's one thing you can still work for: bounty. When you first join the game, you get the option to join Marines or Pirates, each having their own benefit. Let's be honest, it doesn't change the game at all. When on either team, you have something called bounty / honor, and this is how you really highlight that you have no life. This is kind of like a reputation system. You raise it by killing other players with a similar level, or by killing bosses and other random events. Though at a point, it caps at 2.5 million. After that point, you have to defeat players to raise it. Which brings me to the PvP in this game. The game is mostly PvE, and it's honestly done well. The moves feel nice, and fighting NPCs isn't miserable, but the PvP is a little more complicated. I don't really know how to feel about it. I've had really fun battles, win or lose, but also ones where you just get your back blown out. And also, if you're one of those people that are near max level and just spam kill people grinding, not even for bounty or honor,
you should reset character now.
Talk about players. I think I got another minute to cram in. Let's talk about the community. Now, Blox Fruits community is weird. Usually, you can just say the community is bad.
Have you ever said the N-word before?
Or horny. Never search anything on the TikTok. Blox Fruits community is special. It's not any of those. It's just boring. A quarter of these players are bots. And I don't mean like making fun of players like they act like bots. I mean they are literal bots that shill like scam websites. This is a horrible thing. The entire time I was getting footage for this video, just a bunch of scam websites. And the other half are people that just act like bots. I'm talking they just beg. There's so much begging in this game. The community is honestly, to me, from what I've seen, is just such a huge nothing burger. Now that is the briefest summary I could do for this game, but I want to get back to the sweet little lies they whispered in my ears eons ago. I actually made a list of what they added and what they didn't add in the screenshots. Keep in mind, these are the screenshots, so anything that wasn't in them that they added, it ain't gonna be in here. Dragon reworked, swords reworked, some interface changes. They did add all those, don't get me wrong. In all those screenshots, they also promised a C1 map, don't got that. C2 map, don't got that. Control rework, still don't have that. New types of character progression, I don't know what they were hinting at, but we have not gotten that. And most of the interface changes they showed, like social menus and shit, we have not gotten that. To be fair, they did add a lot of cool stuff, and reworks. Until you realize the coolest shit they didn't add, which I get is subjective. I'm sure Blox Fruits' main audience wants flashy fruits and swords, which I get it, but I feel like we should focus more on the shit that benefits all players, like the map reworks and the new type of quests that turn it into a true RPG. Instead, we only drop fruit reworks for fruits that are mid to high level. New swords and guns are cool, but then you take a look at the map and it feels like we're still in 2019. Then on top of all that, they rework Third Seas Islands. Like, bro, they already look decent. Also, before you say, well, majority of the players are now in C3, so of course the majority of contents can be built for them. Which, to an extent, you are correct. But a lot of those players get bored and want to start over again. Now, why on God's green earth would you want to do that? Well, keep in mind, a lot of people that play Blox are usually kids or unemployed people. Stop fucking pointing at me. So they got a lot of free time. But I also know from experience when I was younger and played the game, me and my friends did the same shit. And so did their friends and so on. Which, by the way, it's still crazy how this game doesn't have save slots. We had to keep making new accounts. If you just added new islands and quests, people would be way more inclined to do a new playthrough. It's been 2 years and we still only have half the content in those screenshots. I'm sorry, but you're one of the biggest Roblox games with an even bigger budget. I get development takes time, but this is beyond ridiculous. But ignoring all that, let's say in an imaginary universe, they drop the update tomorrow. But even then, why show the screenshots 2 years before you planned on releasing? You're not GTA 6. Blox has this problem where they promise a bunch of content, then deliver on half of it, and even when they do that, they somehow start issues. Look, I know this may seem crazy, but I'm not trying to dunk on this game, and trust me, it would be easy. I mostly have fond memories of this game, and it's still relatively fun to me, but coming back years later, I expected more. What they have added is really well made and looks cool, but they seem to forgot all the shit they promised years ago. I know I'm not the only one that was excited for it. These screenshots were one of the main reasons Update 20 broke Roblox. Then people loaded in and realized it wasn't there. I remember when this happened, people were pissed, dude, and they clowned on the game. They were deadass spamming slurs and emoticon dicks in the Discord, which is real mature for a Roblox game, guys. It just angers me because I see the potential in this game, but the devs don't seem to care that much. I mean, damn, they make money either way. Shit, they don't even have to update the game. I'm not trying to cherry pick either. They have added some cool content, like I said, but they should focus on the shit they promised first and not more fruits. As of now, I feel like I'm the only one who gives a damn about this because most people don't care at all about this game now or are just fine with the fact that we're even getting updates. But I just want more from my Roblox experiences. One of the biggest reasons I stopped playing is because none of this was in Update 20. 2 years later, half of it's still not. And before you ask, I also looked everywhere, their Discord, Reddit, even their update bulletin board thing. They have never mentioned half of these screenshots till this day. At the end of all this, though, you may be asking, what am I trying to accomplish? Well, two things, kind of. What I'm personally making this video. First of all, maybe reminding them that this update exists. And the other reason I'm making this is because I gotta get some ad revenue, bro. I gotta make up for all the permanent fruits I bought. Post-editing Pagama here. I looked a little deeper in, and by that, I clicked on a couple of gamer robot videos, you know, one of their channels for this video. And in some of the intros, they actually show, like, screenshots and, like, more in-depth views of the C1 and 2 rework map, I'm pretty sure. They have an editor that slams it in the intro every time, so they know this update exists. They even made a video on this 2 years ago, hyping it up and promising even more shit. Bro, I just rewatched the video. They promised crew activities and, like, a whole new crew system. We don't have that either. And the craziest part is in most of these screenshots, it looks finished. Like, this shit looks done. Where is it?